Monday.
The Pope has put in a word for peace in the Middle East during talks with the world's most powerful politician. The Catholic leader highlighted his concern for Christians inside Iraq at a Vatican meeting with US President George Bush.
Good to see you again.
It's always fascinating to watch how differently world leaders react in the presence of the Pope. Some are stiff, a few are humbled, others like to engage and relax.
How you doing?
President Bush dispensed with most of the protocol today, but the relationship seemed warm and friendly. How was the G8, said the Pope.
Successful.
That's good, said the Pope. It's important. And what about that conversation with President Putin?
I'll tell you in a minute.
On the ethical issues, gay marriage and abortion, they stand side by side. But behind these smiles, the Pope has big concerns about US foreign policy. In his Easter message this year, he said nothing positive was coming out of Iraq. And in the meeting, he told the president there was now an urgent need for a negotiated solution to the Middle East crisis.
He did express deep concern about the Christians inside Iraq. That he was concerned that the society that was evolving would not tolerate the Christian religion.
These meetings between a president and a pope are always mutually beneficial. The president represents the world superpower, the pope a world perspective of faith and conscience. But this year, a sense of Vatican approval is hugely important to the president, particularly at home, where his approval ratings have been suffering.
And just hours after George Bush talked peace, battles flared on the streets nearby. What was meant to be a quiet demonstration over the president's visit turned into a pitched battle with riot police. 150,000 were at the rally. Organisers say they were infiltrated by protesters who defied police orders not to wear masks. Several demonstrators and police were injured. The Church of England is threatening legal action against Japanese electronics giant Sony over a violent computer game. Historic Manchester Cathedral is the backdrop for the popular new PlayStation 3 game Resistance: Fall of Man. It features a shootout where hundreds are killed. Clergy want the game taken off the shelves, saying it's sick and sacrilegious.
God, to be used as a context for a game about killing people, I think is just so inappropriate.
Sony says the game is science fiction and aliens are the targets, not humans. A Christian cross that travels the world to places of pain and suffering has today visited the site of a New Zealand tragedy. The 4-metre wooden cross was the focus of a prayer vigil at Aramoana.
For 22 years it's travelled the world.
Jesus, remember me.
Its first New Zealand appearance at the memorial to one of our darkest days.
So I'd like us to pause and think about the families involved in this tragedy here at Aramoana, which this memorial is about.
It's 16 and a half years since David Gray went on the rampage here, killing 13 people before being gunned down himself. The cross is no stranger to places of sorrow. Tsunami, earthquake and terrorism devastated sites, all part of its long travelling history.
It helps people to understand suffering and tragedy, but it says to them that there is hope. And to this community, it can be a sign of hope and unity.
An icon depicting Mary and Jesus travels with the cross, which every few years becomes a centrepiece at gatherings of hundreds of thousands of young Catholics.
Mostly it's a cross to celebrate the unifying of young people into one cause of just being able to make a difference with love.
When you come into your kingdom.
The cross will now travel throughout New Zealand. Next stop, Bluff, where just last year 6 people died when their fishing boat sank. John McDermott, One News.
Waiheke Island is the latest target of the Auckland City Council's clampdown on signs, and businesses there are far from happy. They say they've been given a choice between getting rid of their signs or paying a whopping fine.
What happens when your shop sign's bigger than your roof? You get a letter from the Auckland City Council saying take it down or face a big fine, a whopping $20,000. Well, that's what's happened to some Waiheke businesses that aren't obeying Council's existing bylaws, even though this is the first time they've ever been told about the problem.
Apparently it's too high
absolutely outrageous.
And these are the offenders: a video store, cafe, restaurants, real estate agents, about 15 businesses, and they all agree the council should mind its own business.
It seems really like a very minor thing for them to be considering. I think there's a lot more important things that they could be dealing with, for example, Metro Water.
And locals agree the council's getting tough on those that are just trying to serve their community.
Thank you. Far too many people have got nothing else to do.
I think the council are a pack of idiots.
But the council insists it's just enforcing its existing bylaws, and anyone worried by the ban should apply for a dispensation, but that'll cost them more than $500. And folks around here believe this isn't the last they'll be hearing from council on this issue.
The next step, as I understand it, is the removal of sandwich boards, which again, just crazy.
Crazy, but possibly the future look for Waiheke. Billy Jo Ropiha, One News.
Hotelier Paris Hilton hasn't eaten or slept since being ordered back to jail and, according to media reports, is now on psychiatric drugs. The Hollywood socialite was in tears yesterday when taken back to prison after being briefly released on medical grounds. She's reported to be crying a lot and praying, and has had a 2-hour visit from her psychiatrist. And celebrities from the movie industry, second only to Hollywood, have gathered in England for the annual Bollywood Oscars. All the major stars of India's growing film industry are there for an awards ceremony that'll be watched on TV by around 500 million people.
Saturday night in Sheffield, it was looking rather glamorous. Mumbai's acting aristocracy had arrived here in Yorkshire. On the green carpet, Bollywood's golden newlyweds, Aishwarya Rai and Abhishek Bachchan. And the big B himself, Amitabh Bachchan, here to sell the world's most prolific film industry.
Hollywood is not the largest filmmaking nation in the world, yet it is the largest, almost the second largest export earner for the United States of America. And I felt that if the United States of America could do it, why couldn't we, being the largest cinema-making nation in the world?
And there was also an appearance by the actress who has perhaps had the biggest impact on Bollywood's UK profile after enduring a controversial stay with Big Brother.
It's just been great. I mean, I feel very proud to belong to this fraternity, the Indian film fraternity, and I'm glad for all the encouragement that we've been given.
Of course, Yorkshire was also hoping to benefit from all of this, and there were a few positive signs.
You're going to shoot a film here?
I would love to. Let me see.
So we could see Bollywood on the Yorkshire moors?
Definitely, I promise.
So this was about more than just sequins and saris. Behind the spectacle, a hope that this might lead to longer-term returns for both Bollywood and Yorkshire.
And the Bollywood Oscar for Best Picture has gone to Rang De Basanti, or in English, Paint It Saffron. The Best Actor gong went to Hrithik Roshan, and Rani Mukherjee took out Best Actress. Still to come on One News, he's trying to make the most of his golden years, so why is this posing a problem? And remember this gobble? We meet the boy from Foxton who's taken on the world at an old favourite.
David Bain, free for now, convicted of murdering his entire family. The Privy Council says there was a miscarriage of justice. Is a retrial in the public interest? We explore the arguments for and against. British intelligence foiled a terrorist plot to explode a fertiliser bomb in London, but could they have also prevented the July bombings in the London Underground? You'll recognise his stars, most of them four-legged and furry, who star in television commercials. He can't get them to talk yet, but he's working on it. That's Sunday, 7:30 tonight, here on One.